We never know where life will lead us or what may hinder us along the way. But while every day can feel like one big question mark, it doesn't have to. With the right insights, strategies, and solutions from Western and Southern Financial Group, together we can look ahead to leave the unknown behind.
Salts are cracked. Some people don't think we actually take those salts.
You can see them.
Hold it up. Yeah,
Hold, you can see the red.
Hold it up.
It's a cash.
If you're watching on YouTube, this is a cracked
ammonia
salt.
bag.
I got mine too.
These are medical grade. You don't want to be fucking with us.
They don't even, honestly, they don't even hit me like they used to.
They never do. You're growing a tolerance.
I might have to start crushing them up in my
coffee
water bottle and shaking them up and then
eating
taking a hit.
I like that, honestly. I think that's great. I have a story to start for us.
Yes.
This is
this one's fantastic.
People love my dating life, and this isn't necessarily a date, but I mean, I have a dating game. I'm trying to work on myself. You know, I'm trying to be a better person.
You've lost 40 pounds this year.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube,
I'm dropping weight.
He has been shedding.
I'm out here shedding.
Grinding.
First team all shed. I'm out here shedding, but working on myself. However, that doesn't mean I haven't gone to a kickback here and there. Went to a kickback. And was hanging out with our buddy Mitch, who, shout out to Mitch Kaiser on the podcast, absolute stud.
Kickback reminds me of the
high school.
Real Bros of Simi Valley.
I don't know what the hell
they're
that is.
debating whether it's a kickback or a
yeah, that's right. I don't know if this was a kickback. I was drinking during the day and playing cards, couple of chicks, some other people, whatever. I was making some moves, and then here we are. I wasn't trying to make a play. It was like 4 o'clock and I had dinner plans, but here we are, still playing the game. We're playing the game that is life.
You're you.
I'm you.
You're
me.
Putting out the vibe.
Then next morning, follows me on IG. I was like, okay, the flames have been stoked. Yeah. The flames are stoked, friends.
You'll love to see that.
Hit her with a lead off, something funny, classic.
We need to know what it is.
Okay, I think it was.
Let's get in on this.
So something that people don't know about me is I'm very good at drinking games, and specifically card games. I can take the lead on a drinking card game pretty well. I'm probably the best host there is. You're laughing. Dude,
you're really
I can't
pumping.
miss. I can't miss. My card games can't miss.
I mean, you're good.
I say something like, I'm trying to pull up the IG. I don't want to botch the story here. I said, next time you'll have to host a card game. Something like that. It's classic, shared experience. We said something back, and then I said, what'd you do after? Because we both kind of left early, and I went to go to dinner. And then she says, I told my boyfriend I met the best, or like the master of card games and the funniest person ever. Guy's down bad. Look at me. I'm just like sitting here. I'm like, okay. I hit her back with the same. Ha ha. And she says,
why'd you even reply at that point?
Honestly, I'm too nice. But guy's down bad. Boyfriend, funniest guy ever. Rock on. I'm putting that in my Tinder bio. Your boyfriend's favorite guy. Your boyfriend's favorite guy. Hit her with the same. Then she said something like, let's start a podcast. I don't fucking know, man. Anyway, guy's down bad here. Didn't go well. She didn't deserve me. Didn't deserve me. Have fun with your boyfriend.
Getting
okay?
Hit with a
How funny is your boyfriend if I'm the funniest guy ever?
Getting friend zoned and getting like a friend referral is a tough look when you thought you were.
You really hate to see it. You really hate to see it. But that's me. That's where I'm at right now. All right, let's get into this mock draft. Let's continue to just shit on the decisions I make and go to the 2-round 2021 NFL mock draft.
All right, so this is yours. I'll be the host now.
Love it. Can't wait.
Go through. Pick by pick. We'll do the first round. It's a 2-round mock. If you want to see it, go to pff.com. Second feature. Number 1, Jacksonville Jaguars. Old hat at this point, Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, New York Jets, Zach Wilson. Those seem locked in. Do we think that
that's locked in?
That's locked in. It's locked
in. The news coming out during BYU's pro day that the Jets are locked into Zach Wilson, and then the trade happening. I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are so confident the Jets are taking Zach Wilson.
Yeah, it ain't rocket science to put those leaves together.
And I think that's the best pick for them.
Yeah, I do agree. So San Francisco 49ers, obviously after the trade, you have Justin Fields. I am in agreement here. I just cannot fathom. I actually have an article coming on pff.com today breaking down the fits of all of them. Fields, Lance, Mac Jones. I'm just going to give you a tease. Mac Jones, the reason why I think everyone's putting that fit together is because he did the most things that translate to Kyle Shanahan's offense. Like what he did is easily projectable. But Fields, isolating when he was doing similar things, crossing routes over the middle of the field, working off play action, excellent. Absurdly good in those areas. Just didn't do it nearly as often. So, again, he's capable of running that offense with far more tools, far more physical ability than a Mac Jones. So, I digress. Number 4, you have the New England Patriots making a play, trading with the Atlanta Falcons, who will never in a million years be willing to trade with Bill Belichick after what they did to him. So, but going up and getting Trey Lance. And I think they will make a move. Is it Trey Lance? Is it Mac Jones? Whoever it's going to be. I do agree that they go up and make a move. And then here we go. Wild card pick. Cincinnati Bengals. Kyle Pitts. Just let's talk about that one for a second.
Yeah. So what's interesting about the Kyle Pitts one is I did not know what I wanted to do here. A lot of me wanted to go Jamar Chase. I talked to Anthony Tresh, PFF's Anthony Tresh, a ton about this. Do I go Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, or Penei Sewell? Mm-hmm. All three, the best prospects at their respective positions in this draft. And what I wanted to think about was which one helps them win more. And my final take was Jamar Chase, the difference between him and the two other good receivers in this class, or even Rashad Bateman. No, the two other like elite receivers in this class, or elite prospects in Waddle and Smith. And then even to Bateman, the difference between what Chase brings to the table from even Bateman just didn't have me feeling all that great. And then I look at Penei Sewell. You look at WAR, wins above replacement according to PFF. The difference between an average offensive tackle and elite offensive tackle does not significantly benefit you as much as the difference between an average tight end and an elite tight end. And I'm confident Kyle Pitts is an elite tight end. You've said it before that he could be better than Darren Waller as a rookie. Like he could be a top 3 tight end in his position as a rookie. I'm not saying Penei Sewell isn't a dramatic upgrade over Riley Reif. However, I think a dramatic upgrade over Riley Reif does not do you as much in the win column as a dramatic upgrade over Drew Sample. And I think that's what Kyle Pitts is.
Whoa, Drew Sample slander will not.
Yeah, I'm going to cut that part from the podcast. Come on,
But
man.
I'll add this too. Joe Burrow didn't take Riley Reif out to dinner, wine and dine the motherfucker, not to get his guy at 5. Joe Burrow's in the conversation. Joe Burrow either wants Chase or Pitts.
I was going to say, would Chase not be his guy?
No, I know Chase is his guy. I'm saying I think Joe Burrow wanted Riley Reif more than just to get protection and to heal that knee up, but he also wants it so they don't have to take Penei Sewell at 5, and they could go get either a Chase or a Pitts, and I think that's what the Bengals are going to do.
Quinn, need your take. Pitts? Yay, nay.
So I call him Kyle Tits because tits are awesome, and so is Kyle Pitts. So I call him Kyle Tits.
I like it.
Can we put that on a quote graphic?
We can put that on a quote graphic.
Kyle Tits.
But no, so I think in this, to not get super long-winded here, I think he would actually be a good fit for the Bengals because even if you just put him out wide and gave him the same sort of targets that you tried to give AJ Green last year, which is over the middle and like big play contested catches downfield, if you watch Kyle Tits, his highlight tape, like that's where he's winning, like big contested plays downfield and over the middle. I think you could like plug him in there even just as a wide receiver, and he would produce like 50, 60 catches in that offense.
He would fit with Burrow. Like Burrow will give you a chance to make plays, contested catches.
And in the second round, I have the Bengals taking Alex Leatherwood of Alabama. You're still getting an offensive tackle there. If you want someone to start over Riley Reif and Jonah Williams, that's the thing. Like Alex Leatherwood, when I talked to him on the podcast, I think that interview comes out today. I think is that on today's podcast? No, yeah, it is. Today's podcast, we're talking to Alex Leatherwood. He brings up versatility. Like NFL teams talk to him a ton about versatility. He can play guard. He played guard at a high level in the SEC, and he can play tackle. And I think you can it's all about, what Sam Cosmi told me this. That's on a future episode. Sam Cosmi said, one of the biggest things that NFL offensive line coaches say is we need to get our best 5 on the football field. And the only way you're getting your best 5 is you got guys who can play multiple positions. And Cosmi said he could do that. Mel Kiper Jr., we haven't talked about this, has him ranked as a fucking guard.
Cosmi?
Sam Cosmi.
It's 6'8".
Yes. He's the number 2 guard behind Elijah Vera Tucker.
Okay.
When he has, and I remember I came out with a mock draft.
Play him at guard.
I came out in a mock draft. And I said, hey, Arizona Cardinals could take Sam Cosmi at some point in the draft, and you could kick him inside the guard if you want to get your best 5 on the football field out of the gate, because I know they re-signed Kelvin Beachum or whatever. And people were like literally wanting me to die on the cross, suggesting that Sam Cosmi could ever play guard. Mel Kiper has him as number 2 guard. I don't think he's a better tackle prospect than he is a guard prospect, but you can't tell me he couldn't play guard. You can't say he can't play guard.
But I would not want him there.
No, neither would I. But I'm saying if you want your best 5 on the football field, that might be Cosmi at guard.
Okay. On to the next 5 here. Miami Dolphins, after the trade up, obviously targeting one of the weapons. Jamar Chase here they get from LSU. Detroit Lions, finally Penei Sewell comes off the board to them. Carolina Panthers nab their guy in Mac Jones because they're kind of SOL with trade partners as it stands. Denver Broncos get linebacker Micah Parsons, and then Dallas Cowboys go Patrick Surtain. Do we think Penei Sewell falls to 7? Do we see a fall?
If the Bengals don't take Penei Sewell at 5, I do not think the Miami Dolphins will take Penei Sewell at 6. And I honestly would like Chase over Sewell for them too. I mean, as they develop that young offensive line, I really like Chase to help Tua with Will Fuller, with Mike Gesicki, with Devontae Parker. Like, let's go chase some offense. Let's go get it. Let's go put Alabama, Tua Tagovailoa in a position to succeed. And then at 7, I feel like Detroit Lions, even though they have Taylor Decker, put Penei Sewell over Tyrell Crosby. I think another former Oregon offensive tackle. Put him ahead of Crosby there. Because if the Lions
10-year starter.
If the Lions, so that's what I would do. If I was the Lions, I would take Penei Sewell at 7 if he's there. But the Lions could easily lock into a guy like Micah Parsons. They lock into Micah Parsons. They want that guy on their defense. Then at 8, I don't think the Panthers do it. Panthers need a quarterback. They're one of the biggest losers of these trades. I mentioned that in the analysis on the mock draft. They're one of the biggest losers because it's likely that they're going to be stuck with the 5th best quarterback in this class in Mac Jones at number 8. However, then I think if the Panthers, so say the Lions pass on Sewell, Panthers pass on Sewell at 8, I think the Broncos are another spot. Yeah. And I know they got Juwan James coming back from opt-out, and I know they have already paid Garrett Bowles big money, but you don't know what Juwan James is going to be after an opt-out. He hasn't even been that good even in his career. He's been kind of league average. Yeah. Bringing in Penei Sewell as an upgrade at right tackle for the Broncos, I think, could be a play as well.
Man, my take of Penei Sewell being the first position player off the board, it seems like it's in hot water.
A little bit. I mean, I do think that the Bengals are in a prime position to do it, but we'll see.
All right. Next 5 here, we got the Giants getting Devontae Smith from Alabama. God, they were in a nice position to grab another wide receiver, and I would do it if I'm them. Philadelphia Eagles going J.C. Horn from South Carolina. Los Angeles Chargers getting Rashawn Slater, Northwestern. Minnesota Vikings going Kwity Paye from Michigan, and then the Atlanta Falcons going Jalen Waddle from Alabama after that trade down. Do we think wide receiver class, like the Dolphins traded up because they didn't think they were going to get one? Do we think they'd made a mistake that one is going to fall to 12?
I mentioned that in the analysis too. I said, I don't love the decision for the Miami Dolphins to trade up from 12 to 6 after getting 2 first rounders in the 49ers trade, but we were playing the cards were dealt in the mock draft. Mm-hmm. And I think if they are moving up for receiver, they better go get their guy, which could be Devontae Smith, especially with the Tua Tagovailoa connection, or Jalen Waddle. However, I do think Jamar Chase is the better prospect, so I have them going Chase. And then New York Giants, some people were saying, we just signed Kenny Galladay. What's the point of signing drafting Devontae Smith at 11? It's like, okay, Darius Slayton is one guy. Then you have Sterling Shepard, who everyone loves as a slot type since he was fucking drafted out of Oklahoma. But what has he done? Devontae Smith can have success on the slot or on the outside out of the gate. And I know you're going to be protecting him from press coverage in the NFL at 170 pounds. Even though he had success at Alabama releasing and working against press, you're still going to be in some ways wanting to protect him, moving him in the slot and outside. And I don't think Darius Slayton should not be keeping you from drafting a Devontae Smith. Sterling Shepard should not be keeping you from drafting a Devontae Smith. Kenny Galladay is one thing. Like, you've talked about Kenny Galladay and his prospects of even working into the slot more. Mm-hmm. Like, he goes into the slot. You said that for Baltimore if he went to Baltimore. So I think all of those guys can be a little bit interchangeable, maybe outside of Shepard. And I think you want to put a talented receiving core together. We've talked about the best teams in the NFL. They all have multiple really talented receivers. At 11, I think Devontae Smith, you sprint the pick in. And for Atlanta, after trading down and gathering what I would have as a future first-round pick and a second-round pick from the New England Patriots, if not more, maybe Stephon Gilmore thrown in as well, getting Jalen Waddle and that all-Alabama receiving core would take this offense to the next level. You could have Jalen Waddle working the slot, Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones on the outside. And I don't have to tell Falcons fans how often fucking Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones got hurt last year. Having depth at the wide receiver position is good. Just because you have 2 good receivers doesn't mean you should avoid the position. It's a valuable position where oftentimes you start 3. I think Jalen Waddle in the slot would be sick.
Jalen Waddle in that offense would be sick. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, on to the next 5 here. Arizona Cardinals grab Miami edge defender Jalen Phillips, who, man, what a pro day. Do put it on a show there.
Absolutely.
Las Vegas Raiders grab Virginia Tech offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw. Miami Dolphins get Penn State edge defender Jason Oweh, Washington football team. Oklahoma State offensive tackle Tevin Jenkins. And the Chicago Bears grab Georgia edge defender Azeez Ojulari. The edge fits here, Cardinals and Bears, they both have kind of 2 starting edges. Yeah, they got J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones, and then you got Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn. What are we doing here?
I'm all about adding edge talent. I'm all about adding market valued positions. Jalen Phillips can come in as a rotational edge. I'm all for it. Out of the gate, guy who struggled with concussions in his career, let's get Jalen Phillips on the football field and get cheaper at the second most expensive position in the NFL. Steelers fans are upset, and you'll get to this later, that I had him getting Gregory Rousseau and Payton Turner. Get cheaper at the second most expensive position in the NFL. I think Payton Turner can move inside as well. He has positional versatility. Gregory Rousseau, all he is positional versatility. He's never played true edge at a successful level in college. You could play him at multiple positions. So I really like Phillips at the value at 16. And then looking at Owe, you can't say the Miami Dolphins have a lot of, they started Andrew Van Ginkel
always
last
fine.
year.
I'm saying Chicago, Aziz.
So I do think that adding Aziz Ojulari here, and I like Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack as well, I just felt like the value was too good. Like I think that a lot of the offensive tackles were already off the board with Darrisaw and Tevin Jenkins, and I just kind of lock in again. When I'm in a position where I can't fill a position of need, I'm going to go get value. And value for me is in this edge class, specifically at the back end of the first round, with how expensive a Trey Hendrickson and a Carl Lawson and a Leonard Floyd cost.
And a Robert Quinn, who's not been good for that.
Yes, exactly. And Aziz Ojulari working with Khalil Mack, my God, like let's train up a guy that in year two, so don't even think about 2021. In year two, when maybe you're moving on from a Quinn or Khalil Mack is in an interesting situation and you have to fucking blow this thing up, having some value there or having some talented players along the edge like an Aziz Ojulari entering year two, filling that need a year prior could be pretty sweet.
Khalil Mack, when he was drafted, we would have hated him. He was 23 years old. So old.
We killed him.
But he was a monster. The dude had a 40
we had him ranked pretty highly, didn't we?
That was before our PFF draft time.
That was 2014, I felt that.
He had 40-inch vert coming out. Whew.
Yum.
Yum
was weird. I don't think I need to say that again.
What would be the tasty part to that to you? Want to describe? Go deeper into that?
Can we please go to the next
21, Indianapolis Colts grab Minnesota wide receiver Rashad Bateman. 22, love this fit. I floated this one on national radio this morning. Elijah Moore, Ole Miss to the Tennessee Titans. Whew. Ole Miss, bring wide receiver you. New York Jets going, we need to do, someone floated that, like do all the wide receiver DBUs, actually once for all decide on them. We're going to have to do that on a podcast.
With a representative of the school, to really get people excited.
Okay.
Sean Wade.
O-line you.
Yeah. That'd be good.
All right. New York Jets. Cornerback Greg Newsome out of Northwestern. Pittsburgh Steelers, Greg Rousseau, edge defender Miami. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trayvon Moehrig, TCU safety. I do love that fit. Let's start, though, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're all in this year.
Yeah.
They need a guy that's going to help this year. Greg Rousseau, like you got Alex Highsmith there on the edge. I don't know if he unseats him after how good he looked. And Greg Rousseau also, this is obviously before his pro day, but his pro day was just absolute trash.
Yeah.
Was not good.
I think now with the pro day,
he literally, his best trait is that he's tall. He's 98th percentile height, 6'7", 34 3/4 inch arms, and actually his hand size, 11-inch hands. But then, man, although I will say 4'6", 40 at 260 is not bad, but then the rest of his testing numbers, 9'7" broad jump, 7'5" 3-cone. He did like 3-cone. He did the Jalen Ferguson where he just like kept running it until he got a time that was serviceable.
Apparently stumbled the first few times and then like ran it a third time and it was still shit.
Yeah. And then a 14. Well, you stumble because you can't turn.
Yeah.
It's like the guys who stumble, it's like.
Very true.
Like everyone was that DK Metcalf 3-cone came out and everyone's like, oh, well, he stumbled. Obviously, it's like, no, you stumble because you can't make that 180
That's a great
360 turn well enough.
So in hindsight,
and then a 30-inch vertical.
In hindsight, I don't think I have Gregory Rousseau going 24 to Steelers. There's a chance he falls out of the first round with how bad that pro day was. And I do think, so it's a combination of how bad that pro day was, and also he's played 1 year of college football. As a redshirt freshman at a position no one plays in the NFL, rover or whatever the fuck. Like some defenses have that guy in their defense, but like not a lot of them. So I do think that Gregory Rousseau could be slipping out of the first round. And in hindsight, maybe I get them in on the tackle class. Dylan Radins, North Dakota State, Sam Cosmi of Texas. They have to. I think they have to. So I do think that in hindsight, that was not a great pick. Can we talk about some of the fits here though? I love Rashad Bateman of the Colts. I think that's a great fit. I love Elijah Moore, Tennessee, like you said. And then Greg Newsome to New York Jets with Robert Salah. I do think that's a fire fit. I think the Jets getting Newsome at 23 would be sick. I've had a Jets beat reporter, unnamed, talking to me a ton about what should the Jets
better not
do.
be Manish.
It's not Manish. Jesus Christ, I have a soul. Talking to me a ton about what the Jets should do and all this stuff. And I think we're feeling good about Newsome at 23. Nice. Anyway, and then Trayvon Moehrig to Jacksonville. I was looking at their investment in the defensive line. I thought maybe they could go Barmore here, but they've just thrown so many
got a lot
resources
of
at
resources
defensive
there.
line. And I think in the secondary, you don't want a cornerback necessarily up, taking what they want, obviously, C.J. Henderson to do or Shaquille Griffin to do. I thought about the slot, but I like Trayvon Morgan. I think that's a move for them.
I like Trayvon Morgan a lot in that defense because what he can do from a blitzing perspective. I don't know. Obviously, the DC coming over from Baltimore. I don't know what they use their safeties in a versatile manner. I think he can execute that. So I thought he was fit for Baltimore as well if he would have still been on the board. Cleveland Browns, 26. Christian Barmore, Alabama defensive tackle. Baltimore Ravens, Terrace Marshall, wide receiver from LSU. New Orleans Saints grabbed the falling cornerback from Virginia Tech, Caleb Farley, after that back surgery he had. Green Bay Packers grabbed Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker from Notre Dame. Thank you for that. Buffalo Bills go North Dakota State offensive tackle Dylan Radins, 31. Kansas State Chiefs, Sam Cosmi, offensive tackle Texas. Tackle heavy here. 32. Buccaneers go Walker Little, Stanford, offensive tackle.
I'm predicting a run on tackles at the back end of the first round because one.
Did you do the mock and you're like, oh shit, I forgot about
No.
tackles.
I think this is going to happen. One, this is a good tackle class, and it's got depth, and I think there's a lot of value in it at the back end of the first. Two, you want that fifth-year option with these guys. You want a fifth-year option with your offensive tackle. It's an expensive-ass position. You want that fifth-year option with guys also that oftentimes don't develop into like legitimate starters until year 2, year 3. Look at Colton Miller. Colton Miller had the best season of his career this past year and ranked inside the top 10 in pass blocking grade, and they just signed him to an $18 million per year extension. I think getting that fifth-year option with these guys, I think, is super important. So I do like Walker Little to Tampa Bay, and some people are like, we just signed Donovan Smith. Tristan Wirfs was rookie of the year. Why do we need tackle? Donovan Smith's going to play out the rest of his contract in Tampa Bay, if not get cut after this season, depending on how they structure that contract. Why in the hell are you drafting for needs and people want them to go running back? It would be absolutely atrocious if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went running back at 32. Atrocious. It could be Najee, it could be Travis Etienne, it could be Javonte Williams. It'd be atrocious. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs a year ago, who took a running back at 32, and now have it needs at corner, offensive tackle, pass rusher, across wide receiver. That's where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could be in 1 year. 1 year's time, your roster could develop significant needs at multiple valuable positions. Don't spend high-end resources on luxury picks like running back. I think tackle here makes more sense.
So I will say, though, to note about the fifth-year option, under the new CBA, it is far less favorable to the teams.
Team? Really?
Yes. It is far better for
It's closer to what, like a tag?
It's closer to a tag.
Which at
It's
the
not
same
a full
time, though,
tag.
like teams are willing to do when you have that blue chip.
But it's when it only makes sense. It only really saves you when it is the blue chip guy.
Yeah, fair.
So
Some of the other picks here, I just don't know. I don't know where Barmore is going to go. And I don't know if he could slip past the Browns at 26, who I know have invested a bit in the defensive line and in the secondary as well. I think Barmore to Cleveland, though, I could see being where his fall stops. I like Terrace Marshall to Baltimore, big-bodied guy for Lamar Jackson.
that one's a great fit.
And Caleb Farley, that's another guy where I don't know. The back surgery is one thing. I'm not a doctor. Your dad is, your brother is, and your sister is. But sister-in-law. But I'm not. So I don't know how far he's going to fall. I don't think the New Orleans Saints, with Marshawn Lattimore taking mugshots lately, would pass on Caleb Farley and what he could do in that defense.
We got to ask Dr. Chow about pro football.
Which one of your brothers is a lawyer? Because we also need to figure out what the fuck's going on with
lawyer.
Marshawn Lattimore. Your mom's lawyer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can get her on. Talk
Get
to
her
Marshawn
on.
Lattimore.
Get her on.
She'd love to come on.
And so forth. All right. That's
All
going to
she
do it for
does
the
is
first
sit on
round.
Twitter
If you
all
want to
day.
check out the second round of the mock draft, you should go to pff.com. We're not going to read every pick of the second round, are we?
No.
All right, cool. All right,
go to linebackers.
Let's go to linebackers. Interesting class here. Right now, you have, 4 day one guys, in your opinion, guys you would take in the first round? I only had Parsons and Owusu-Koramoah in the first round of my mock draft.
Yeah.
But you have 4 guys with that day one value.
Yeah, so I don't think Parsons, we've talked about him a ton. And then his pro day goes out, puts on a fucking show. 4.39 40, 1.59 10 split, 10.6 broad jump, and my fave, the sub 7 cone. 6'9" 4 cone. He would be the top edge defender. He's 6'3", 246. He would be the top edge defender in his class. Now, he doesn't have great length, 31.5-inch arms, but this guy is a freak. I mean, no bones about it. And my favorite thing, and one of my friends texted me this, and I hadn't realized, he was the only person at the Penn State Pro Day, I guess, that had his hands measured. 11-inch hands, the biggest hands ever for a linebacker. Basically just wanted the world to know he is a monster hog, probably. That's all he wanted to say. 11-inch hands.
That's exactly it.
That's another quote graphic.
I think that's exactly
Micah Parsons
it. There's no
quote.
other reason to get your hands measured.
Micah Parsons wanted the world to know he had a monster hog.
Show
it
me
up
the
so
lie.
far.
Show me the lie. I'm asking to show the lie.
If I had 11-inch hands, I'd be fucking putting
It'd
them
be in your
everywhere.
Tinder bio.
Yeah, it would just say 11-inch hands. It'd be like, and then like
That'd
a
be sick, dude.
like a
Wink emoji.
sly face emoji.
I love that.
But yeah, Micah Parsons is a stud. I don't think I wouldn't overthink it
All
too
right.
much there. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, also a stud. We'll see what kind of a show he puts on at his pro day. I think I'm hoping for a nice little cone. I think he's that sort of athlete that will put something nice,
Sub-7?
sub-7 on his tape. But he is just explosive, man. I think he can. Everyone says, you have to have a role for him. He's 215 pounds. If you want to just plug him at weak side linebacker, I think he's going to be completely fine in the NFL. I think he plays the game at that level of speed, and that he's explosive enough to take on blocks between the tackles, even though not something he did at Notre Dame that much. But man, a coverage grade over 80 this year as a slot cornerback. And you think about what he can do then as a linebacker. Like he's very good. And
Cynthia Freeland brought up that Micah Parsons could play well in the slot in her latest mock draft.
interesting. I would not put him there. Is
Okay.
all
I'm just asking. I'm just bringing up facts.
Nick Bolton, next up on this list, the Missouri linebacker. He plays the game correctly. Yeah, you talk about football players.
Talk to me.
Football player.
Yes.
He 5'11", but he has longer arms than Micah Parsons.
How big are his hands?
Not as big, but 10 and a quarter.
That's still
or
fat.
3/8. Those are big hands. 96 percentile hands.
Excited.
This guy, fantastic tackler, and he ran a 4.59. He has speed. He just might not be your all-around shifty, athletic Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah type linebacker. But don't get it twisted. He could play sideline to sideline with the best of them. Getting slept on. I know why he's not going to be a first-round pick. 5'11 is a tough sell, but 237 at 5'11 is a chunk. This guy
How long are his arms?
moves 31 and 7/8 inches.
That's solid. That's not
That's
bad.
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about. Have you talked on the podcast about 30-inch arm linebackers?
Yes.
It's just so you do not see 30 inches or below at arm length at linebacker have success. It is very rare.
You're just not one. It's tough to tackle.
Yeah.
You have no
And shed blocks.
tough tackle, tough to shed blocks, and then you have no sphere of influence in the passing game. There's no your arms don't do anything.
Yeah.
You're
Blake Cashman.
You're Blake Cashman.
Blake Cashman, Chad Surratt both have 30-inch arms.
Shaquem
Griffin.
130-inch arm. But
Jesus Christ. All right, Zay, can you jump off of Bolton, please?
I love Nick Bolton. He's going to be very good in the NFL, in my opinion. Zaven Collins of Tulsa. The man is a horse. And I think Collins and Owusu-Koramoah are unique players and unique skill sets to where I think they'll go higher than anticipated because you're not going to find another one like that, those guys.
Yeah.
But he is 6'4", 260 pounds, and just gallops like a horse sideline to sideline. Probably, I don't know what his 40 is going to be, but his speed is not a concern whatsoever to me. He's not as physical as you might expect at that size taking on blocks, but he shows it at times. Like if he gets one-on-one with a running back as a blitzer, it's over. He's throwing that guy to the side with ease. So blitz-heavy schemes that are going to kind of ask him to come downhill a lot, solid as can be in that regard. So those are your first-round linebackers. Feel very good about all those guys.
What's interesting is I feel like all four of those guys are rare for different reasons. Parsons, just overall athlete, positional versatility, can rush the passer. Like Owusu-Koramoah, another really good athlete that could play like even some slot corner for
Hybrid
you
dude.
if you wanted to. And then Zaven Collins fits that mold. If you want to be blitzing linebackers, if you want a guy, want guys blitzing off ball and stuff, Zaven Collins can do that. And Bolton, maybe not for his athleticism or his positional versatility, but he's the football IQ. Like his ability to read and stuff like that is just big. I think those four guys are interesting. All right, day two.
Day two, my favorite day two linebacker is Jabril Cox. We've seen him do it. 2 different schemes, 2 different schools, grade out exceptionally well in coverage. And at LSU this past year, he was doing a lot of similar things to Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He is not Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from explosiveness perspective. His biggest weakness, Jabril Cox, the LSU linebacker, does not have that pop on contact that like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah can stick a running back in the hole and not cede any ground. Jabril Cox was going backwards a lot of times when he would, take on a running back. He does not have that level of pow to his game. Very similar. I mean, like, reminds me of Darius Leonard in that regard. That's not Darius Leonard's game. He's more of a playmaker all around. He's not going to stack and shed an offensive tackle. But Jabril Cox can take on blocks still by not just avoiding them altogether. He is a solid athlete for the position, has good length, sphere of influence in coverage. He is just man coverage, zone coverage. You saw him make plays on the football, covering the slot this past year. That's rare for a linebacker. Linebackers in college, like, we're going to talk about Jamin Davis next on this list. He didn't make a lot of plays on the football. He got some gimme picks on his tape, but he was not going above and beyond his role in coverage. You saw that from Jabril Cox a lot, though.
And he has his pro day along with Jamin Davis. So for those who are listening to the podcast, I'm sure the pro day, all the numbers have come from Florida, Kentucky, LSU, Wake Forest, Notre Dame. We are not reacting to those live on the podcast, unfortunately, but Jamin Davis, too. This is the next linebacker on the list. Jabril Cox and Jamin Davis working out the pro days today.
Yes, the Kentucky linebacker, 6'4", 235, long, got that body type.
Yeah.
And he's going to be fast. Like, he comes downhill in a hurry.
He said he wants low 4.4s.
I do. The thing I wonder or kind of worry about him is, like, why did he not start until his 4th year at Kentucky? It's not like Kentucky's churning out powerhouse linebackers. It's not like he's sitting behind a couple first rounders.
Who's that fucking linebacker they had? His name was like Cash Money or something stupid. I'll look it up. I know who. Yeah. I'll find it.
You're just hating on.
I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying you start behind Cash Money.
You're just mad that your nickname's not Cash
It was Cash. His name was Cash. It's Cash Daniel. You're starting behind Cash Daniel. What's wrong with you?
If for 3 years you're riding kind of the pines there, I need more background on that. But when he did start this past year, it was exceptional against the run. I loved his tape in run defense. Takes on blocks really well for a guy who's not, 250, 240, like your normal linebackers that you think could be power players in the run game. He still has that in his arsenal. But I just said what I said about Cox. You didn't see him going necessarily above and beyond Jamin Davis in coverage. Limited role in coverage in Kentucky. That's still the thing to worry about. But more like I've watched of his tape, you're just like, the physical tools are pretty special. And that's kind of still the biggest thing at linebacker.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of guys are 235 and run 4.4s. He might be one of them. So
true. And if they are, they're probably playing tight end. And then you need guys to defend those guys.
Exactly. So next guy up on this list, Pete Werner, the Ohio State linebacker. Only 9-inch hands here. So
brutal.
We're not talking about, this ain't Nick Bolton, Micah Parsons level.
Can I read the rest of his measurables though?
Yes.
Not the rest, but some of the ones we have. 6'3", 238. Ran a 4.52, 90th percentile linebacker. Also has 33 1/4 inch arms, 83rd percentile at the position. That's good. I don't care about hand size a ton when you got 33 1/4 inch arms. That's fire.
But then you got to get to my two faves here.
Yeah, and then you have vertical jump at 40. And then you have even a sub 7.3
and then the sub 7.3
6.95, 77th percentile, and broad too, 79th percentile. Those are fucking good numbers for
those are elite linebacker numbers. And his tape is just very solid all around. Not much of a playmaker. On the broadcast yesterday, they talked about he's an instinctive linebacker. I was like, he's just white. All right, he's not an instinctive linebacker. That was just a racial call altogether.
I think. Okay, can we rattle off some? You only say this for white players stuff, and stuff you should frown upon it, which is absolute garbage. I'm going to say one: pro ready. Pro ready gets used for white quarterbacks way too often. Stop. You need to stop.
The race-based code words.
The race-based disgusting.
They go both ways. It's just like people are
bad.
Lazy. It's lazy. It's laziness.
Racist. Yeah. I mean, let's call it what it is. But pro-ready, instinctive, high motor, lunch pail, all that shit.
I didn't think his tape was particularly instinctive, but he is a very talented athlete and very good between the tackles at linebacker things you're going to have to do at the next level in terms of like taking on blocks, playing on balance, tackling, those sort of things. So those are the guys I would like on day two. After, I think that's kind of it for day two, though. So I got 7 guys there, day 1, day 2, that I'd feel good about drafting. After that, it is a hodgepodge mess.
18 linebackers
on day 3.
In PFF's big board.
On PFF's board.
Because obviously there's only, 250 or so picks in the NFL draft, and there's 300 players ranked on the big board.
Like some of these
You know what this group is? Who's your boy for Seattle?
Nick Bloor.
These are the Nick Bloor. So you're hoping for some of these guys to turn into some special teams mavens, because like some of these guys down there, Isaiah McDuffie at Boston College, Grant Stewart of Houston, Riley Cole of South Alabama had the most "my feet are caught in mud" tape of anyone at the Senior Bowl and on his in coverage at South Alabama. There's some guys here that you just don't want on the football field on passing downs. And guess what? In the NFL, the best teams, all downs are passing down. So that's the scary part for some of these guys.
So,
Tuff Borland had one of the worst pro days for a linebacker we've seen in a long time. That was rough. I think he ran like in the 4.9s. That's
I never
disgusting.
understood the Tuff
That's
Borland,
disgusting.
whatever. But okay,
Good name. That's all it is.
So here's the guys that are in this group of day three that I want to highlight that are athletic projects that you're probably going to see drafted higher than day 3. That being Baron Browning from Ohio State. Talk about a pro day. 6'3", 245 pounds, 33.5-inch arms, 4'5", 140, 40-inch vertical, 6'7", 8'3" cone, and a 10-10 broad jump. He absolutely lit it on fire. One of the best linebacker pro days of all time in terms of what just all-around numbers. That's him. Freak athlete. Does not know like assignment soundness all over the map. He might be a guy I'd switch to like just completely edge defender. Just let him 240 pounds with that athleticism, that explosiveness. He can hold up. And I might just want to say, go rush the passer. Give him a simple assignment because he really was he played slow. He just played slower than all those testing numbers. So, and that was kind of his MO. That's why he was in the same recruiting class.
Can we talk about the other Ohio State linebacker as well? The guy who was former 5-star from Cincinnati, has
Justin
not played
Hilliard.
a lot due to injuries, but like we expected him to test well. I thought he was going to test well.
Better than what he did.
6'1", 229, not great. 31.38-inch arms, according to PFF Ultimate. 8.88-inch hands, sub 9-inch hands. 4.81 40-yard dash.
That one blows me away.
That's 13th percentile. At 229, that's bad. Like you expect linebackers running in the 4.8s, you better be like 250 plus.
Yeah.
And then you look even at his explosive numbers here. I mean, he had 27 reps on the bench. Good for you. But vertical jump, 54th percentile. Broad jump, 27th. Shuttle, 40th. Cone, 7.20, 33rd percentile. Those are puke numbers right there.
Not great.
I wish we could see more because Justin Hilliard, man, like there's some plays on tape where you're like, you kind of get excited about him, but these numbers are bad news bears.
They are, sadly.
You might have to come down the board
guys.
A little bit, Mike.
Those are day 3. Those are day 3 numbers, and that's why he's on the day 3 in this mix.
All right, give you some more names to highlight here.
But then 2 guys that I like but don't love that are worth talking about that are kind of have do-it-all potential. Like there are some 2-down guys on this list for sure. But these guys, Monty Rice from Georgia, Chaz Surratt from North Carolina, those guys have 3-down potential. They are all-around athletes. Monty Rice, I think, went in the 4.5s at his pro day. Monty Rice is undersized on the smaller end, doesn't have great length. Chaz Surratt is just like all over the place. He's improved as a tackler, but he's still kind of learning the position. Just his run reads were just awful between the tackles this past year. Christian Darrisaw murdered him. Just took him off the field because he didn't know what he was looking at, and Christian Darrisaw would just come out of nowhere and just blindside him. So doesn't have long arms, only 30-inch arms, but ran a 4.58, 7.02 cone. Chaz Surratt's a good all-around athlete, just still kind of learning the position. I don't know if you can throw him into the NFL right away and ask him to play year 1. And that's a tough sell like on day 2 if you're really that unsure about a guy who's an undersized 229-pound linebacker. So I really like those guys, though, they could still be all-around guys.
Awesome. Can we break? Because I have some official LSU pro day numbers.
Let's go.
For measurements. Jabril Cox, 6'3", 232.
Good numbers.
32 and 3/8-inch hands.
Nope.
9-inch.
I bet that's his
arms. 9-inch hands, 79 wing. And he will not be participating in the drills due to a hamstring injury.
Oh, he was going to run slow as shit.
Oh, man, you hate to see it.
That's the Cleveland Furl.
All right,
I remember
some other highlights here. Go ahead.
I remember I tweeted about when Cleveland Furl just said he had like a foot injury, and some like a Clemson reporter was like, no, he actually has a foot injury. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sure he definitely has a foot injury that's definitely keeping him from. It's like this happens every year. Yeah. How do you?
No numbers are better than bad numbers.
It's difficult.
It's agent 101.
It's difficult to injure yourself weight training.
Yeah,
it's the safest sport.
I will say the injury that I do think was real was Kwity Paye injuring himself running the 40 and not being able to run the shuttle because the shuttles would have been stupid.
Yeah, like that's his bread and butter.
All right, Racey McMath, 6'2", 217, 32-inch arms, 8 and 7/8 hands, 79 wing. Jacoby Stevens, 6'1", 212, the safety for LSU, 6'1", 212, 32 and 2/8 hands, 76 wing.
Jacoby Stevens. Can we get some big dogs?
Jamar Chase, 6 foot, flat, 6'003, so 6 foot and a third.
It's like me.
Nice.
Me and you, Jamar.
6 foot 205, which I like. 30 and 6/8 hands or arms. 74 7/8 wing. Terrace Marshall, 6'2", 205, a little bit taller.
Big wing though.
32 6/8 hands, arms. 78
You did that 3 times.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I have a bad brain. 32 and 6/8 arms, 78 and 1/8 wing. Then here's the big one. Tyler Shelvin.
Let's see it.
6'2", drum roll.
Wait. Should we bet over under 350? I'll say over.
Quinn?
Well, I'll take under. I think he's over, but just to
He's
make it
actually
fun.
6'2", 350 flat.
Oh, right on
You
the
love to see that, though.
Push.
I mean, this guy was pushing
I'm a great
400.
bookmaker with
350
weights.
is great. 33 and 5/8 arms, 80 and 2/8 wing. That's solid. Oh, that's a big boy, dude. He's a fucking monster. And then Kerry Vincent Sr., I don't know if you care, but 5'9", 185 is where he's at right now.
Man, Tyler Shelvin,
He won't be doing the bench today, unfortunately.
will he ever get below 320 in his life, do you think?
No.
That guy is.
Depends, though. You see some offensive tackles and stuff like drop big after
But those are usually like the guys who had to get up.
Remember when we had Calais Campbell on the podcast and he said his big goal was to like drop under a certain weight to skydive when he retires. That was very sweet. You know, Calais Campbell's a sweet guy at heart. Even though he's got that big bellowing voice.
Awesome voice.
Dude, he sounds like fucking
cartoon character
some
voice.
Greek god or something. He's awesome. He was fun to have on the pod. We'll have to do more of those in the summer when we talk to like current NFL players and stuff. Those guys are cool. All right, well, that's going to do it for the linebacker overview, the 2-round mock draft.
12-year-olds. Those guys are cool. Those
I'm gonna kill
NFL
myself.
players.
All right, what's the deal here? You're making fun of me left and right. What's wrong? What's wrong?
You're making yourself an easy target today.
It's true. All right, cool. Well, that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and jump to interviews with Payton Turner. These guys are really cool, Mike. Interviews with Payton Turner and Alex Leatherwood. Now joining the 2-4 Drafts podcast is former Alabama offensive tackle Alex Leatherwood. Alex, great to have you on the show.
What's up? It's great to be here, man.
I really appreciate it, dude. Let's start at the Senior Bowl, actually. Talk to me about that experience down there in Mobile, that opportunity to play in the one-on-ones, work with NFL coaches, get NFL feedback. What were some main takeaways you had from that experience?
The Senior Bowl was fun overall. I felt like I want to go out there and just show that I'm a competitor, to be honest. So I want to go out and compete against the top seniors in the country, all that good stuff. And I feel like it went great, you know what I mean? As far as like the team periods, one-on-ones, and as like the week went on, I feel like I got better and better, you know what I mean? And it was fun being able to be coached by the Panthers coaching staff. Pat Meyer, he was a great coach. I learned a great deal from him. It was a great overall experience.
Gotcha, man. And I know you're currently training for the Alabama Pro Day, which I think is March 23rd. How has that training process been?
That's been going well. I'm training at MJP in Dallas, Texas with Big Duke and all those other guys. And it's been a great experience just being able to learn from him and all the other O-linemen in this draft class. It's going great. I'm ready to perform.
Good to hear, man. And then, so for the athletic drills, I'm sure you're obviously training to test for all those drills. But are there any specific drills that you feel like you want to really show out on or have circled as ones with like heavy goals for?
No, not really. But I do feel like I'm gonna like put up great numbers on all just like the testing drills, just like the 40 broad, all that good stuff. But I feel like I'm most excited for the position drills, just to showcase me as an athlete. You know what I mean? Just going through all those drills, all that good stuff.
Going back to your season at Alabama, I'd be interested to hear more about kind of your preparation process in a given game week. How much film are you watching? What are you looking for on film when you're watching an opposing defense or an opposing pass rusher? And what exactly do you try to take from that film or that practice week into the game with you?
Right. Well, typically when it comes to the opponent, really, man, I'm just trying to like take our game plan and how we want to attack that defense and try to apply it to whatever defense we're playing. So as far as like a defensive lineman, I try to like look at like his tendencies and like his pass rush, what he does against like certain blocks, like outside zone, inside zone, and just stuff like that, and like their tendencies and what they like to do as a defense as a whole, just like their scheme, like what kind of blitzes they like to do, like on what down and distance, and just things like that.
And when you're preparing for a certain pass rusher, what do you look at from them? Obviously, trying to diagnose, their pass rush plan, their primary moves, and those types of things. How do you kind of adjust how you approach a certain pass rusher versus other ones based off what you see on film?
Well, first and foremost, I go and look at like their height and weight. You know what I mean? That's a good gauge of how big they are. And really, I like to dissect their moves by the situation, whether it be like a first and 10 pass rush where like you start off with like a run mentality and got to convert, or say it's like second and long or like third down. You know what I mean? So I try to like separate it into those categories and what you like to do, how you like to set up your moves and things like that. And yeah.
Gotcha, man. And I'd be interested to know, how has that film preparation kind of changed this offseason? Obviously, working with Duke, you're working different things, but are you watching any film on NFL guys, whether that's NFL offensive tackles or even NFL pass rushers? I've talked to a handful of guys that watch pass rushers in the NFL to kind of prepare what they're gonna be looking at in the league.
Right. Yeah. I have actually been watching dudes like Trent Williams, of course, David Bakhtiari. I watch Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens, and I like to watch my old teammate Judge Wills. I like to watch those dudes because and I try to like take things away from their game that could like apply to me. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of people may ask, well, who do you model your game after? And I don't really like take it after any one person. You know what I mean? I just try to like look at a bunch of good players and try to like take things that they do well and try to implement it in my game. And as far as defensive players, I feel like the three I watch a lot: Myles Garrett, Joey Bosa, and Aaron Donald. Those three dudes are freaks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just freak athletes, and the way they move their body, their skill sets, their bend, their get off, and it's fun to watch.
What do you feel like is kind of your key separator or key strength in this offensive tackle class? Obviously, very long, very good pedigree, working in the SEC, going against top flight competition. But what do you feel like your biggest strength is in this class?
I just feel like my strength in this class is my versatility for sure. I mean, I've gone against like 4 and possibly 6 first rounders at both guard and tackle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My skill set, I feel like I got the best of all worlds. I feel like I'm good in the run game. I feel like I'm good in the pass game. I have a great skill set with my length and my size and my quickness. So I feel like I'm a jack of all trades, if you ask me. I can do it all. I play in a very versatile scheme offense. You know what I mean? I can perform and execute in a lot of schemes. So yeah.
We can finish with this one. I really appreciate the time. Is what is your kind of motivation to continue to pursue football like you do and make the sacrifices that you do to play college football like you did and now pursue the NFL? What is your motivation or your why behind playing the game?
Just because I love the game. You know what I mean? I love the game. I love playing O-line, and I love to compete for sure. But other than what I love, just doing it for like my city, Pensacola, Florida, and the dudes back home, where like a lot of dreams rock. To be honest, you know what I mean? And I just want to like show the people there, like kids all over Florida, that like if you put your mind to something, you know what I mean? Like no matter where you're from, maybe like big city, small city, whatever, like you can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I really appreciate the time, like I said, and I wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Now joining the 2-for-1 Drafts podcast is former Houston defensive lineman Payton Turner, and I'm happy to say this: you are a PFF favorite. PFF is really big on your game. You graded really well this past season. Unlimited snaps, obviously only 201 snaps with the abbreviated season, but I know Mike Renner, my podcast co-host who doesn't do these interviews with me, is a big fan of your game and is really excited to have you on the podcast.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. So I know you're down there in Frisco, Texas, training with Exos. How has that been so far?
It's been going well. Getting your work in, getting better, getting faster, stronger. So it's all going well.
That's the MO of Exos, man. I think everyone I talk to is working down there at Exos. It's something in the water in Frisco. I think there's other guys, though. There's an Exos location in Pensacola. You got to get your way out there, man. Who was I talking to recently? Someone who's down there, dude, showed me a view of his house or like his view from the beach. I was like, dude, must be nice.
They got
must be nice. PFF is based in Cincinnati. I know I was telling you that before. There's no beaches here. Fun fact. But I would love to hear more about some of the guys that you're working out with down there. Who are some of the other prospects that are in kind of your group that you're training with?
Yeah, I mean, we just switched up groups just based off pro day, but I mean, there's a lot of big names there. Rondale Moore, Najee Harris, Jamar Chase. There's a lot of big names there. Pat Jones is the other DN I've been working out a lot with. Tevin Jenkins is down here. There's a lot of big names over here at Exos and Frisco. So I mean, we're all getting our work in, all getting better. So it's nice to be around some high level guys, good competition.
Absolutely. I feel like every time I hear someone's working out with Rondale Moore, I always think, man, working in the same gym with Rondale Moore has got to be fucking crazy because that dude's just built different, to use the often coined phrase. Sure. He's a different kid. What, obviously you're working on a combination of things, just trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, all of that stuff. But are there any drills specifically, whether they're combine drills or even just positional drills, that you're most looking forward to kind of, performing at your pro day?
Yeah, all my short area stuff, 10-yard split, the 3-cone, short shuttle, like all that stuff. I'm really ready to go out there and do in front of all the coaches and everything. So I mean, I'm excited.
And I think I saw, your listed weight at Houston, 6'6", 270. What weight did you actually play at this past season? And are you working to a specific goal weight this offseason?
Yeah, I played at 270 at Houston. I mean, after games, you drop a little bit of weight, you're sweating it all out. But I mean, every coach that I've talked to and everything, they want me to stay around 270. So I mean, I've just been sticking around 270.
You're fortunate, man. I'll tell you what, big guys like you, anybody who's in the 250 plus range always has to make some movement. I talk to guys who have to drop 20, 30 pounds or add 15 pounds. I think I was talking to former App State linebacker from the 2020 class, Akeem Davis Gaither, and he was on the lighter side for linebacker, and he was eating like 20,000 calories a day or some crazy ass shit. Some dudes are just going all in, but that's cool that you're able to stay at that same weight. Yeah. I think that's a good transition to your game specifically. 6'6", 270, could play along the edge. But also, I think you bring, what's interesting is multi-gap versatility. And I think that's something that people or teams covet when you have a bigger edge product, because a lot of the guys that bend the edge now are in that 245 to 250 range. At 270, you can really be kicked inside on passing downs and those things. Have you given any thought to being a versatile defensive lineman at the next level, and have any teams given you that feedback that they want to kind of kick you inside and move you around a bit?
Yeah, like you said, versatility is key, especially at the next level. So, I mean, obviously, me being able to rush on guards is big to my game. I mean, but still at the same time, coaches like that I can play on the edge and be productive on the edge, whether I power rush or come off speed. So, I mean, versatility never killed anybody. So that's the way I've been sold. So that's all I'm looking forward to. 100%
agree with that, man. Versatility gets too often underrated when you talk to different defensive players specifically. I also want to turn back the clocks a little bit, because what I find interesting about your background, I write a lot of the backgrounds for the draft guide here at PFF, is, former 2-star recruit according to 24/7 Sports, but like you had some like legitimate offers coming out. Like you were this hidden gem according to some of the bigger scouting services, but you had offers from Michigan, Texas, Kansas, all these big dogs, and still stayed at Houston. What went into that decision?
Yeah, I mean, Houston kept their offer. A lot of guys fell off. A lot of big schools fell off after I had an injury my senior year, and I didn't really complete my senior year. So I mean, Houston stayed true to their offer, and they were there at all my games. They're still contacting me, staying in touch. So I mean, I had no problem staying home with Houston. And they had a good thing going. So I was glad to be there.
Some of those schools missed out on an absolute dog. One thing that PFF really likes about your game, in addition to, I think length is obviously a big one. I mean, when you weighed in at the Senior Bowl, I think you had 35-inch arms. That's a big boy measurement right there. That's what teams really do like. But the other thing is the physicality. You rarely see defensive linemen, specifically pass rushers, play with the level of physicality you do now. So many guys want to pin their ears back, get around the corner, speed rush, move upfield, but you're going through guys there at Houston. Do you feel like that's one of the bigger strengths of your game? Do you think that kind of separates you in this class, or you put the scouting hat on yourself? Tell me what you feel like really separates you in this class. I
feel that I'm as good as any edge player in this draft. So, my power is also, a big factor that a lot of teams look at and like about the way I play. I'm violent. So, the ball gets out really fast in the league, if you hadn't noticed. So, being able to go through a tackle and put the tackle in the lap of the quarterback, get him off the spot is big time. So, that's what teams like, and that's what I've been hearing. So, I'm glad I can do that.
I'd be interested to hear more about kind of how you set up your pass rush moves. I think I talked to a lot of edge defenders specifically about your pass rush plan, what you go through pre-snap. And I know a lot of that's kind of built in the film room and what you see from tendencies from opposing offensive tackles and those things. But walk us through what you're kind of thinking pre-snap, what you're wanting to do pre-snap when you're putting together your pass rush plan, your primary and your counter moves.
Right. I mean, everything starts with your get off. So, having a good get off, whether it be a pre-snap read, whether you can see that it's going to be a pass based off the tackle's weight, distribution, and how long his stance is. So everything's off get off. And then, coming off that, my length and my power, like, as you said, are good. So, working my long arm, working my long arm series, whether it be a stab, single, and then dip around the edge, or a flash and ghost. So, just working a lot of stuff off one move and just mastering that, and then getting to the next level and just, like I said, keep working on that stuff to be successful.
I think that comment you made there, long arm series, is a good term, because I think a lot of people, at least at face value, look at pass rush moves as the long arm, the cross chop, those different things. But like, each move has variations. Each move has different pieces, because you can't just throw the same long arm at every single person. That's very interesting. I'd love to hear more too about kind of what goes into a given game week for you when you're turning on the film. What do you look for from an opposing offensive tackle? What do you write down? What are big things that you try and find on tape when you're preparing for, a specific offensive lineman or a specific offense?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you get oversets. Me being a bigger DN, a lot of the large tackles don't want to give me a momentum. So I'll see them jump set bigger DN. So, I mean, that's an opportunity to take a B-gap rush or, bounce out, beat the hands, and beat them around the edge. So just working hands, seeing the way they set, whether they're reachers, grabbers, how they punch, two hands, one hand, how they set, whether they were super vertical and or whether they turn their shoulders when they set, because that's an indicator for power, power rush. So just breaking stuff down, like you said, in the film room with the week leading up to the game is big time, and that's what's going to get you some numbers and stats on the game day.
And what has been your process for developing more pass rush moves? I know a lot of guys will watch NFL tape. Some will obviously work with certain pass rush gurus, like Chuck Smith is a guy that gets brought up a ton in terms of like guys actually developing new moves. You talk to some guys coming out of college and like, yeah, we never worked pass rush moves. We're just preparing for each offense. We're just trying to win each game. There's never really a ton of opportunities to get better technically or moves wise. What has been your process to develop some of these moves?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of new. As y'all know, I'm kind of new to the edge. So, I played there for a year and a half, really. And, I feel like I've developed really well. But just after my junior year, I kind of got to look at myself and see what I needed to develop that area. And I knew it was pass rush. So, I got with Coach early. I have a really good D-line coach in Houston, really good. So, got with him, came up with some plans on what I need to get better at, where I need to get better with my bend. And, I got to work with some other guys like BT Jordan's a big dude that I've been working with. But yeah, like you said, there's a lot of guys out there to help you develop pass rush. You just got to get with them and learn yourself, learn your body, and how you want to rush and how you want to be successful on the edge.
Are there any guys in the NFL that you'll watch and kind of pattern your game after, kind of look at guys that are similar size or similar skill set that you feel like, okay, these are some things that I can do in the NFL? Yeah,
that's exactly like you said, similar skill set, similar size. So like I'll look at bigger DNs like Marcus Davenport, Sean Gary, Cam Jordan, JJ Watt. Like, I'll look at those bigger dudes, Chandler Jones, JPP, just what they do and what they're successful with. A lot of those guys, like I mentioned, are really long and athletic. So, and I spoke about Cam Jordan, JJ Watt. They're really versatile. So just like the ability to do those things and how they do it, what I can take from them and put in my game to make me better. So those are definitely things that I look at.
I really like that Marcus Davenport call out, because that's another guy that's got size, he's got length, and he's really gotten better every single year in the NFL. And I think you have a similar trajectory. Something that Mike talks about all the time with your game is that the arrow is pointing up. You are getting better as you kind of move forward and have more experience playing along the edge. This has been fantastic. I'd love to finish with this question here. I ask a lot of guys this, but what is your motivation or your why? Some people use the why term there, but what is your motivation to pursue the game at the level you do, make the sacrifices you have to make to play the NFL at this level? Even in college, playing college football is a sacrifice, and then pursuing it to great lengths, there in Frisco, Texas, working with Exos to be, the best player you can be. What is driving that motivation or that why for you?
It's always been my family, and it always will be my family. That they've been there for everything. That they've supported me through everything. So my why is always gonna be my family. But at the same time, I love football. So going out there and competing every down, every play that I can go out there and go as hard as I can, I'm going to do it. So, but my family is my why, no doubt.
Respect that, man. That's awesome to hear. Well, I really appreciate the time, like I said, and I wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's going to do it for this episode of 2-for-1 Drafts. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. And if you do, leave a 5-star review in Apple Podcasts. you will have a chance to win a draft guide. I'm giving away draft guides. DM me a screenshot of your review. I'm giving away a draft guide to 50% of the DMs I get. Go leave a review in Apple Podcasts. Until next time, Austin Gayle, producer Mike Quinn, producer David Zafaro, Mike Renner, 2-for-1 Drafts.